Technology, diversity, wine, the redwoods, and everything in between. Welcome to the Northern California Bay Area, and one show takes you inside the real estate that makes it all happen. This is By the Bay.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to By the Bay. I'm Dan Ancheta, your host, and today we are really lucky to have two fantastic real estate professionals here from NextHome Wine Country Premier, Marnie and Teri, a fantastic duo that own and run that brokerage, and we are thrilled to have them here to answer questions about what's happening in their world in real estate. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
How we got here, funny thing. So your husband, Eric, we've worked together at our current company and two prior companies, and we have been working together for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years now. That's crazy. And so you guys own NextHome Wine Country Premier.
Correct.
And that's in Santa Rosa, California.
Yes.
Tell us about your business and about yourselves.
So Teri and I are co-owners of NextHome Wine Country Premier, and we are also business partners in real estate. So we are owners and we also are realtors.
Okay, so you run the brokerage and your own kind of clients and your own thing. Okay.
Yes.
Producing brokers.
Yes,
Understood.
absolutely.
Okay.
But with that being said, we have an interesting model because Teri and I have done real estate between the two of us almost 40 years, maybe a little over 40 years. And so we work by referral only. So what we're able to do because of that is we're able to give our leads that we get on sign calls and so forth to our agents in our office. So that's a really big thing for us to be viewed as non-competing with our agents. And so there's a lot of trust in that we really try to give business out to our agents rather than hold everything internally. So being by referral only really, or primarily by referral only, really helps with that.
Cool. So you said 40 more years to combine experience. So tell us kind of your background, how you got into real estate. There's always a great story of I was doing something else and then I wound up doing this. So walk us through how we got here.
You start.
I'm trying to think.
You've been in it longer.
I've been in it probably about 27 years.
Okay.
I've been in the industry probably about 36 years. I started as a receptionist at Merrill Lynch many years ago. And from there, was with Prudential and became their office manager and got my license about 27 years ago. So been selling since then. And
so my math is really off.
That's
something
fine.
along those lines.
Just gonna add it all up. I'm like, okay.
It's way more than everyone. Math is hard.
Math is hard.
So kind of works from the bottom. So you've seen all facets of kind of finance and real estate.
Definitely.
And that's led you to now and being an owner of this company and empowering other agents to kind of discover their own careers in real estate. Okay.
And I think that's one of the positive things is that Marnie and I still do sell real estate because we're in the trenches. So when the agents, our group of agents come to us and ask us questions, we know what's going on because we are out there doing the business too.
Sure.
So I
have
think
a similar setup where I'm a producing regional manager where I have my own book of business and loan officers that work for me. And so I can really get into the trenches with them. And
exactly.
I think it makes me a better manager overall.
Absolutely agree. 100%.
Yeah, we feel like that too.
Eric might disagree, but that's a different subject.
He disagrees with me usually too, don't worry.
Not me, hello.
Okay, so how long have you been?
So I've been licensed about 18 years, almost 19, and I started due to a previous job. I had an injury and had to do retraining, and Eric had his license and said, you should look at doing this. And I said, I'm not a salesperson. I could never sell real estate. He said, you don't have to be a salesperson. You're helping people. And I was a commodity manager, so I kind of shifted as housing's a different commodity. So I got my license and became a realtor, and almost
really
19 years later.
It's fascinating because people, there's a kind of a stigma, I think, about you're trying to sell us something.
100%.
Right? It's like, well, I think there are those individuals that just want to sell and
Absolutely.
don't take a personal interest in their clients. But we've done some deals kind of together, and you definitely care about your clients and your agents. So you don't have to sell. You're there to help and educate and teach and share your 40-something years of experience with them and help them get to their financial goals, right? So,
Definitely.
So tell us about the brokerage. How many agents are you working with, and what their experience is looking like right now?
So we have, right now we have about 17 agents and 3 teams, including Teri and I. I don't know, experienced 3 to 25 years plus. We have great agents in our office. They are like-minded. They feel like Teri and I, that it's not about a commission, it's about the people, helping the people in the community. Teri and I are born and raised here in Sonoma County. It's really important to us to give back to our community. We have, I would say half of our agents are also born and raised in Sonoma County.
So deep roots, they know the neighborhoods, they know the places. It's probably a better experience overall. There's out of area realtors come in and they don't know the nuances between this school district and that and this neighborhood and that and what's going to work best for those clients' lifestyle. Right.
Definitely. A lot of local knowledge, I feel like our agents have.
Right. And then you also have a deep, connections where the plumbers and the roofers and all these other people to help people. I tell people buying a house is not just getting to the finish line, getting keys in hand. Owning the house is the challenge, and understanding the maintenance and how to take care of it. And there's a lot of nuances to it. So
for sure.
Yeah. I noticed your shirt. So humans over houses. That's like a really cool tag. Is that something that you guys created? Because that's amazing.
I wish.
Yeah, right.
What is that all about?
So Humans Over Houses was actually started by one of the owners of NextHome, our corporate team, Keith Robinson, and he's a genius. And it really hits home to what NextHome wants to be is a part of a bigger thing than real estate, and that is people. So Humans Over Houses is it's not about the transaction, it's not about the commission, it's about the people involved. How do we help the people involved buy what they want to buy or sell what they need to sell and get out of the way of the money and the finances and really look at the people and their stories? And so we have a website, Humans Over Houses, and it highlights incredible stories of people, first-time home buyers and people who have overcome prison, for example, and now they're homeowners, people who have had great loss and now they're homeowners. And it's a great motto, and it's something that we're very proud of. Is it's not about how much the commission is or the check's going to be. It's about getting the right people in the right houses.
It's really amazing. Telling those amazing, beautiful stories of people overcoming tragedy and overcoming loss to achieve their goal. Most people have that goal of having a place of their own that's home, that's a safe place for them to be and to raise their family and to celebrate things. So really cool. I'll have to check that out, and we'll put a link. We'll put a link in the show notes so people can find that.
Awesome.
That's great.
And share those stories. That's really cool.
Awesome. We're very proud of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else makes NextHome a unique or different type of? There's lots of brokerages out there. There's no shortage of them. They're everywhere. So why did you choose? You could be anywhere. So why NextHome?
Well, that is an interesting question, and we, when Marnie and I were ready to go to the next chapter, we did a lot of research and stumbled across NextHome and ended up, meeting with a lot of different brokerages. And when we met with NextHome, it was an instant, like-minded thing that we all fell in love with. And they have a great corporate team. They have technology that is, not only really easy to use, but is, always on the cutting edge, and they're always looking for the next thing. So we were definitely drawn to that. They have a member services team that none of the other companies have.
What does member services mean?
So if there's an issue with any of the products that the company has to offer, NextHome has to offer, we just pick up the phone and we call their member services, and
It's our
on the spot.
corporate customer service, really.
Basically.
Because you're their clients, essentially,
right,
right?
absolutely.
So
They answer the phone.
They're empowering you to take care of your clients and having that
definitely.
kind of
Right.
support from above.
We have a direct line to
Yes.
customer service.
Yes. And for our agents, that it's huge, because if they're in the middle of doing something that, they have a big listing appointment that they're going on and something isn't working correctly, they can pick up the phone and they have the answer right then and there, and they can get it taken care of and move on.
That's not just for Teri and I to call. That's for all of our agents to utilize. All of our staff gets to
We've
utilize
been with
that.
big companies, both of us, before. We've never had that. And I don't know that anybody else has it still. So it's been a really great, positive, the whole experience for us has been super positive.
Yeah, good. Right on. So 17 agents, deep roots in the North Bay.
Yes.
What geographically, gosh, that's a hard word this morning.
I know, right?
Right.
Geographically,
Math
and geography, too, not nice strong suit. So where are the agents located and where are they selling and buying real
We
estate?
primarily cover all of Sonoma County,
Okay.
and we will, depending on situations, go into Marin or Mendocino or Napa County, dependent. But we also have partners and other NextHome offices and agents in various areas in Lake County and Vacaville that we rely on and utilize those resources for help, whether we need help getting clients into good hands or whether we just have questions in those markets. So our main focus is Sonoma County. That's what we know. That's where we live. That's where we're involved in. So we like to focus on what we know best.
Yeah, that's good. So you have partners that you can go to.
Absolutely.
That they have deep roots in their communities.
Absolutely.
And you can leverage them and their expertise to help your clients.
Exactly.
Because again, that's what it's about. It's not about paycheck.
Right.
It's about what's best for the client.
Cool. Where'd your clients come from?
For Teri and I, it's just past clients, really, in all the years of doing business and the referrals of past clients coming back to us or referring their family and friends to us or other realtors that we've worked with over the years out of the area, referring people back to us. And for us, that's the most rewarding thing possible is we did a good job if you're willing to come back to us again, time after time and time after time again. So that's a big deal when you've done 7 to 10 transactions for one person or one family.
Yep.
That's rewarding.
It's the data is pretty shocking about the number of consumers that will use a mortgage professional or real estate professional, and you poll them 6 months after the transaction, they don't remember the person's name.
Right.
And they don't even know how to get a hold of them anymore.
Well, apparently one of the stats says, I think it's 80 some odd percent says they will reuse their realtor again, but only 24% of people actually do.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have to wonder, is that on you as the realtor or is that on the client? Is that on you not staying in touch and not following up and not being a liaison for what their needs are, whether it's to get a painter or they have a question about getting a piece of mail that's on your property taxes and they don't understand it. Are you the liaison or did you forget about them when the transaction was over?
Once you got paid,
Part of
you
that's a
stopped
problem.
talking
Right.
to them. Right.
Part of that is the problem.
Right.
There's-
So walk me through that because, I think getting clients to close and finding the right house for them, help them negotiate the deal, helping them understand the contract, that's kind of table stakes. You kind of have to do that.
Absolutely.
Right? So why do consumers continue to come back to you for that 5th, 6th, 7th transaction and refer their friends and coworkers and whoever else to you? What are you doing differently than other agents?
Well, I think number one is staying in touch. We all intend to stay in touch. Most people don't, though. So I think that's a big part of it. Marnie and I really try very hard to stay in touch with our clients. Like you said, even when the transaction's over, it's not really over. Now they're more like, okay, so they're actually kind of a part of our family, right? So I think that's a big part of it is staying in touch with them and making sure that they everything is going well for them and not only in just the home that they purchased, but also in their life too. So
They know we're a resource forever,
Right.
and we're
Right.
very clear about that. When the deal closes, it's not done.
Right.
I mean,
That's the beginning
we're a
of the
resource.
relationship, not the
We're a
end.
resource for whatever
Yeah.
you need. Absolutely.
it's the time that they can finally relax because they're moved in now, and those are actually the less stressful times for them that we
Right.
get to be one-on-one with
So
them.
is that just picking up the phone? Are you sending a mail? What does that look like?
Yes.
All of it.
All of that, all of the above. So
Absolutely.
you spend a lot of time and kind of strategically thinking about how you're going to interact with your past clients
Right.
forever.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, and I think an example of that is in 2017 when the fires hit. The first thing we did was start saying, okay, let's call our agents. Who do we need to check on? And then we need to get a hold of our clients that we know live in these areas and make sure they're okay and they don't need help and they're not affected.
Right, so in
And
2017 we had huge wildfires in the
Right.
North Bay,
Yep.
specifically in Sonoma County.
lost 5% of our housing.
5% of the housing stock was burned down.
Yep.
It was an awful firestorm
Horrible.
and displaced thousands and thousands of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So we reached out immediately. Again, I mean, our family, our agents, and our clients, those people were all on our radar to make sure they were okay, genuinely reached out. And we actually had a few phone calls with some independent brokerages that we knew lost their buildings and told them, you need space, you come work at our office. We'll set you up in an office. It's a community, right? That first and foremost, it's, again, humans over houses. It's not about we're competing for a listing. Like we're in this together. We're in this community. We're members of this community. We have to always take the high road and do what's right, and that's what's right. So we we offered that space. We actually had a woman who had a small business. Her house was smoke damaged. She came in and utilized our conference room for about 2 months to keep her small business afloat. She wasn't a client of ours. It was somebody who we'd known who said, maybe you should call these people. They were offering help. She came in, used our building, no strings attached. We checked on all our clients to make sure they didn't need anything. We were at Home Depot getting sifting buckets and whatever we could. We were going to property visits with our clients to make sure things were safe and okay. And it was a lot, but that's what we signed up for. I mean, when we did this, that's what we signed up for, was to help people. That means the dirty stuff too, and the stuff that's hard. So it's not just a check.
I've heard lots of kind of mottos and sales pitches and kind of rallying cries, and humans over houses is something that you truly live by. I mean, that's an example. Like, that's a real legit thing.
100%.
And I can tell that you're passionate about it. Like, it's really, really important. So, we'll definitely link up to that so people who are listening or watching can see the stories and participate. That's cool. So, kind of going back to the overall trends that we're seeing, what's going on in Sonoma County right now?
It's crazy.
You tell us what is happening, because we're not.
I mean, I have my own opinions, but you're the experts.
What is happening?
We you know, it is super interesting. We have, like I said, we've been writing offers, you know, for agents and
For clients.
Clients, sorry. And
We let our agents write their own offers.
That's good.
You know, we're not that controlling.
Unless they're like on vacation, we're always here to help you.
We help.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for our clients, and you know, multiple offers still are happening.
Okay.
Yes, we've
On
had
every property?
not on
certain
every
properties?
property, and you know, that's kind of what we've been trying to, you know, figure out. Is it, you know, because a lot of people say, well, the nicer properties, the move-in ready ones are the ones that are selling. But you know, I think also country property, not move-in ready, is still. I mean, we just wrote 2 offers, and they were both going to go over 120,000 over asking. 8 offers, 13 offers.
And so, and those ones that are going over asking, in your analysis of it, is that over what you think the value truly is, or is it just because they listed it kind of low? Where does that fall on that spectrum?
I think a little bit of both, actually. There's one of them that I thought was listed a little bit low. You know, I don't know. I think there's still.
I think it depends on the property and the intrinsic value for the buyer, right? Because if the property has a value based on, you know, maybe a family member lives nearby, or their grandma used to live in the house 2 doors down and they remember playing there as a kid, there's a value to that buyer that there isn't to somebody else. So that's a part of it. Another part of it is it just checks all the boxes, and so somebody's willing to pay more knowing that they're going to hold on to it a little longer. So that's part of it. But like Teri's saying, that these were country properties. We also wrote in another offer that wasn't a country property, and I actually think the house was priced at the top of the market based on where we're seeing and what we're hearing with rates. And I think it was 6-7 days on the market, and we wrote an offer, and we're feeling great. And that night somebody else wrote an offer. And I mean, again, it wasn't like it was one day on and you had to rush right in there and get it. We thought at that price point, okay, that's great, there's some time. And so it's just, it's bizarre. And we have other listings that are just really great single family dwellings, and we don't have an offer on those. So, and we're seeing that, and we're hearing that in some of the groups that we're in with other brokerages, that's happening.
Yeah, the
so
total days on market
it's bizarre.
is, like, on average, is creeping up, right? And we're still seeing those properties that go off in a day. There's 19 offers, and it's like a frenzy. But there's no real rhyme or reason that I'm seeing.
Houses that we're like, wow, that house is great. Wow, it's still available. And other houses that we're like, wow, that one, that's kind of a dog. That we have some time. You get multiple offers, and it's absolutely insane. Yeah.
So I mean, those competitive bid situations, you know, you just kind of have to throw your hat in and see, like, make your best offer. What is this
All you
house
can do
worth
is the
to
best you can do.
If it's worth more to someone else.
You can't control what somebody else is willing to pay. And we tell our buyers out on a regular basis, you put your best foot forward. You cannot control what somebody else is willing to pay. And you have to be okay with that. Right?
Put your best offer out there. And if you're okay with walking away at that price, if you lose it at that price and you're like, okay, well, we gave it our best shot, then fine. Because you might not get another shot at it. Not everybody will counter you, you know. I think some of the buyers also think that, well, we'll just put this offer and then they'll counter as if we're lower. Not necessarily true. It just does not happen like that.
Not guaranteed a counter offer.
Right. Never.
So it sounds like, you know, with these kind of emotional purchases, are you dealing with mostly owner-occupied buyers, or are you dealing with investors? Do you know what your mix is of
I would say primarily owner-occupied.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That's where the
not all.
emotions really come into play, right?
Right,
Investors looking at more of the numbers. Does this
Exactly.
pencil? What's my return on investment? And
Right.
they're kind of like, this is the number I'm willing to pay
Right.
because it pencils out to make me X amount of dollars.
Right. Buyers are thinking Thanksgiving, where's
Right.
everybody going to sit around the table? They're getting emotionally invested for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's I have a lot of respect for what you guys do because it's just really difficult to, have someone's hopes like they can picture the
Yep.
Thanksgiving table and they
It's
can
the
see their
worst.
kids and
They
then
know the rooms the kids are going to live in
Yeah.
and be in,
We
right?
we tell our buyers, don't fall in love with anything. You can be in lust. You can really like it, but don't fall in love until we tell you to fall in love because there's just no guarantee. There is no guarantee. And as we said, you can't control what somebody else is willing to offer or give, and you only have so much to work within. Right. You have a certain time frame and financial framing, and their
Right.
clients can do. They may be all cash. They can do no contingencies. They can close in 7 days, and that's not what everybody can do. So you can only work within your parameters.
Right. And then the right one will come around eventually.
We truly
always
believe
does.
that.
Right.
It always does.
And usually they say, after this long, and we don't understand it, we're not woohooey kind of people, but it's so weird because buyers will say, I'm so glad I didn't get that house. Now it's the house they cried over and we're so sad about.
Definitely.
But when they get the right one, they're like, we're so glad we didn't get that one. This was the one that was meant for us.
Yeah.
And we don't know why it happens that way or how it happens, but it happens every time. I don't think we've ever had somebody who says, boy, I really regret that we bought this one and didn't get that one over there. We've never had that happen, ever.
Great.
Yeah.
I think it's really the energy that you guys have is really great. It's really cool that you're like so passionate about helping people and really truly care. We deal with lots of realtors and lots of real estate professionals, and it's refreshing to hear people that are really in it for the people and really want to help
Yeah.
people. So kind of looking to, like I said, all this frenzy is still in the context of interest rates that are now double what they were a year
Right.
ago, and it still hasn't slowed down the trajectory of North Bay real estate, right?
Right.
In some regards,
Yeah.
maybe, but still
We'll see,
lots
right.
of. So looking out 6 months from now, obviously this is opinion, this is based off your experience.
I'll let Teri talk.
No one can, this is not like, this is not a definitely going to happen
Right.
thing, but your opinion, where's the market going 12 months from now?
I think the economy clearly is going to dictate that. I mean, we see some of our buyers that are just sitting back now. They want to see what's going to happen. They're nervous about the economy.
Right,
and
not
where it's
just
gonna go.
rate, not just rates and prices,
rate, about
everything.
the economy, with the prices of everything going up. So I think prices are going to still creep down. But
Okay.
interest rates, what are interest rates going to be in a year from now? I mean, that's going to dictate some of it, right?
Right.
I chuckle because I'm old, and I chuckle because people talk about interest rates, and I'm like, I was at 13.5% adjustable on my first home.
Right.
And that's just where the market was at that time. I wasn't, we didn't freak out about it. We knew what our payment was. We knew what we could afford. That's what we bought. So,
The long-term context is important, right?
Absolutely.
And we're, I think that we'll see rates continue to be volatile. I think we'll see them go up, and we'll see them come down, and we'll see them go up, and we'll see them come down.
Right.
And we're kind of looking at strategic refinances for people who are buying at a higher point because they love the house and they want to buy it. And then we'll look at right-sizing the debt and getting them, optimizing their rate in the future.
Right.
And that's kind of our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the benefits is Sonoma County is a beautiful place. And like I said, Teri and I are born and raised here. Sonoma County is gorgeous. It will always hold. It will always hold a place for people to want to live.
Yes.
And so that is one part of it. But there's also fears with living in Sonoma County. The fires have been a huge fear for buyers, and we get that statement constantly. I want to be somewhere where I'm safe from the fire. There's no guarantee. I mean, we learn that, but that is a big concern for buyers, and so I think that could, depending on what happens throughout the next few years with fire season, that could also affect pricing and people's concerns in different areas where they're willing to live and what they deem as safe and what they deem as more risky. And it's an insurance costs. Insurability in general is going to be a question. And we were just at a summit for owners of NextHome and brokers at NextHome. And this isn't just here in Sonoma County. We know about it for fire purposes, but we have colleagues in Louisiana who are saying they're one storm away from not being able to get insurance. There's 2 insurance brokers in their area of Louisiana. So this is a national issue of insurability. It's a huge issue.
It's a global issue.
It's a global issue. So we have our own little bubble of what our concerns are, but it's a bigger picture than just Sonoma County and fire insurance. It's insurances as a whole. So those types of things will also, I think, affect pricing.
Yeah. I think that macroeconomically that makes total sense, and then additionally just limited housing stock.
Sure.
Just we're in specifically Sonoma County, still haven't built back all the houses that have been lost, and populations continue to grow, and we just aren't building enough houses.
Well, and I think we're also seeing a little bit of, people aren't selling their homes in 5 years anymore, like the average was 5 years. You hold on to it. We're seeing 8, 10 years now. So people are trying to maximize what they can buy because they feel like they want to stay longer to, kind of hope that their investment does continue to go up. So I think the next year is going to be a very interesting market for everybody. But I think there's definitely going to be some volatility in all of it, for all of us.
Yeah, I think that maybe the silver lining is that if there's people who are hitting the pause button and they're kind of saying, we're still interested, but we're not anxious right now. We're going to kind of wait. Means that there might be fewer buyers. And so someone who is really motivated or needs that home or really has a high level of drive to get there, maybe there's less competition for that person to get in. Right. Cool.
Definitely.
So what else should we know about the market, and if you're a buyer right now, what should you be thinking about? If you're a seller right now, what should you be thinking about?
I think one of the things to remember is some people buy real estate as an investment, as a rental or as a vehicle for retirement perhaps, but a lot of people buy real estate to live in. It's their home, and I think you have to remember that, put that under perspective, is that this is your home. This is where you're going to live. This is where you're going to spend a lot of your time. And to think of that when you're buying a house, not maybe, am I going to make money in 5 years or 10 years? We don't know that. But are you going to enjoy the time that you're living in this home? That's what's really important. And it kind of putting that into perspective for people, it's hard sometimes because they say, well, my uncle told me you only buy real estate if it's going to make you money. And then, my brother lost his house in the last crash, and I don't want to do that. And those are all truths for that person, and those are real fears for that person. But in the real deep reality of it all, this is a place that you're calling home. This is where you have to be comfortable and happy, and can you afford the payment? That's the most important thing. Can you afford to live there? Because we don't want people to get into things they can't afford. But if you can afford to live there and you love it and you're happy, then it's the right house or it's the right time. Because people ask that all the time, is it the right time to buy? I have no idea. We don't know. I mean, I'd love to answer that and say absolutely or no, it's not. But if all those other things come together for you, then it's the right time for you. It may not be the right time for you, but it's the right time for you. So,
really good advice.
Does that answer it?
That totally answers
okay.
it. Yeah. So kind of wrapping up, my favorite question to ask all of our guests is what a piece of financial advice, maybe not necessarily related to real estate, but it could be, what advice would you like everyone to know and to start using in terms of financial literacy, what is that one piece of advice you want everyone to take away?
There's so much there. I think saving is really important, and spending within your means is really important. And Teri and I are both parents, and that's something that's important for us to explain to our own kids is spend within your means, save, because something's going to happen. Something's going to go wrong. And I think if you relay that to real estate, as you mentioned earlier, buying the house is great, but then you have to maintain the house. Right. So I think if you are in that position where you want to buy a home, really think about having your savings, because you are going to want or need to do things to your home. So it applies whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a renter, or whether you're living with your parents still. Saving is really important.
Spending within your means, for sure. And that's why I think Marnie and I definitely, when we get first-time home buyers, who really want to get in a house, and, the market we've been in the last so many years has been crazy for everybody. Yeah. And, we've had to do a lot of counseling about, hey, you only can buy what you can afford. Yeah. Don't be so tied to your house that you can't, all you can do is sit in your house. You can't go out and enjoy life either. So,
for sure.
something will come along, something will work out, we'll help you get there, but don't buy over your means.
Yeah.
And
I'm hearing spend less than you make, have some type of emergency fund,
Absolutely.
and to make sure that the house and the payment that you have meet your lifestyle.
Absolutely.
I would love it. That's great advice.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you.
show.
Thanks for having
Really
us.
appreciate you being here, and I'll have you back again, and we'll do this another time.
Great.
Right
Sounds
on.
good.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Stay up to date with Bay Area real estate. Hit subscribe now if you haven't already. Did you enjoy this episode? We love reviews in the Apple Podcasts app. We'll read yours on the show. This is By the Bay.